Sportsnet News Tonight.
Soccer takes over the Pacific Northwest. In Seattle, Manchester United versus Glasgow Celtic, a team that was in for a rude awakening. BC Lions' Willie Hurst had a CFL job, but like a lot of things, he dropped it. The trade winds blow in the National Hockey League as the Stars, Coyotes, and Blue Jackets hook up for a three-way. Not to be outdone, the NBA comes up with a dynamite deal, a deal that includes Spree being set free. The Minnesota Twins, they get some stud stick from Stewart. Hey, he looks good here, but Larry Walker's career could be on hold. A major breakthrough in the bizarre disappearance of Baylor's Patrick Dennehy. You gotta hold on tight, buddy, because Sportsnet News, it's next.
From the Sportsnet studios, here is Don Taylor.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Don Taylor. This is the news. Manchester United has a fan base of over 53 million people worldwide. The club is a publicly traded company that last year generated a whopping 244 million American dollars in revenue. But that's not enough for the Red Devils. Man U wants to raise its profile in North America. That explains the team's four-game, four-city tour of the U.S., which began tonight in Seattle with a friendly against Glasgow Celtic. Celtic arriving just before 7 p.m. to Seahawks Stadium. Man U arriving about 20 minutes later. They sold out Seahawks Stadium. Over 67,000 fans first half, 7th minute. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ruud van Nistelrooy with the Van Nistelrooyan spin around, a lovely 1-0 Man U. 19th minute now. Celtic presses. Roy Keane takes down Petrov in the box. A penalty kick is called, and on the ensuing penalty kick, it's Alan Thompson versus Roy Carroll. Oh no, he misses wide left. A little later, it was more from Ruud.
Oh, goodbye, Ruud van Nistelrooy, 1 against 4, still alive. Giggs, 2-0, sensational.
Yeah, Ryan Giggs makes it 2-1, 39th minute, more Man U. Solskjaer breaks free, onion bag. 3-0 United. Man U goes on to win this thing by a score of 4-0. What an impressive performance by the Red Devils. Ruud van Nistelrooy, the Dutch international, man of the match. No kidding. Game 2 of the tour is in L.A. on July 27th before stops in New Jersey on July 31st and Philly on August 3rd. The attendance that we talked about was a stadium record. Again, some 67,000 fans on hand at Seahawks Stadium. This leads to our power poll. Manchester United, obviously one of the candidates here. What is the most popular sports team in the world in your opinion? Man, maybe we should have put Real Madrid on here, but these are the 6 we're going with. Man United, the Yankees, the Lakers, the Canadiens, sorry Leaf and Canuck fans, the Dallas Cowboys, or the Frankfurt Galaxy. If you want to take part, log on to sportsnet.ca. The Lions go after their 4th consecutive win Thursday at BC Place against Ottawa. Today, the Lions released running back Willie Hurst, who lost his starting job when, of course, the Lions acquired Kelvin Anderson. Hurst, the former Washington Huskies standout, rushed for 43 yards on just 9 carries this season. He had 110 yards on 7 kickoff returns and was being outperformed in that area by rookie Frank Attolo. Hurst showed all kinds of potential last year when he rambled for 288 yards on 55 carries before running into injury problems. Meanwhile, it's obvious that Dave Dickenson is getting better and better as the weeks go by. After 2 years of NFL clipboard holding, the rust is off, and he's becoming extremely comfortable with the Lions' bevy of pass-catching talent. I'm telling you, the combination of Dickenson throwing to the likes of Simon and Claremont has the potential to rival the 80s combo of DeWalt to Fernandez and Sandusky as the greatest air attack in Leo's history. We get more from Dan Murphy.
It is always nice to have options. So as you can imagine, Dave Dickenson is pretty pleased with what he sees every time he lines up for a snap. Talented receivers, many of them. Sure, they all want the ball, but for now, they all seem to be happy.
I mean, that's a great thing for the team, and Dave, of course, and it helps all the receivers out. You know, it's a great thing when you see all your buddies catching balls, catching touchdowns and everything.
I figured that eventually I'm going to get my ball. So if I have to clear out for another receiver, that's fine, because you know it's only going to make it easier for me when I get the ball.
Coaches always tell you run your route because you never know when the ball's going to be thrown your way. And in the case with Dave, that's the truth. You gotta run hard every single play because you never know when he's going to come your way. And
Obviously, it's tough to defend the football when you don't know where it's going. Just ask the Ottawa Renegades, who watched 9 different Lions catch at least one pass last week.
I think that's the first for me, but that's showing that we're coming together, and things are just starting to work. And I think Dave's getting used to receivers, and he's going to have to, because you can't really rely on one guy, and that's one thing that we talked about. So they're working on getting everybody involved, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. BC's receivers have hauled in 118 passes for nearly 1,800 yards in just 5 games. And Dickinson's gaudy 69% completion rating is a testament to his accuracy as well as the reliability of his receiving corps.
He puts the ball in the money. He does some amazing things with that football, on his placement with the ball and everything. So, and we've even dropped a few balls, and so that doesn't help his percentage, but he's made it pretty easy for us.
So far, I've been throwing the ball, as well as I have in many, many years. So receivers are making the plays. I don't see having us too many drops. We're getting open, and so it's my job just to get the ball to him and let him work.
And that seems to be working just fine for the Lions. Dan Murphy, Sportsnet, Surrey.
Great job as always, Murph. The award for the most successful GM during the summer of 2003, we're talking hockey here, just might go to Doug MacLean of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, Pierre Lacroix landed Paul Kariya and Timo Solani, but he didn't have to work hard at it. MacLean has diligently increased his team's talent base by securing people like Todd Marchant, Trevor Letowski, Fred Brathwaite, and Andrew Castles. And today, Doug MacLean was added again. The Blue Jackets have picked up veteran defenseman Daryl Sidor as part of a 3-way trade involving Columbus, Dallas, and Phoenix. Without getting complicated here, the Stars get longtime Coyote / Jet Teppo Numminen plus a second-round draft pick. The Jackets get Sidor. The Coyotes get former Canuck Mike Sillinger, and also a second-round 2004 draft pick. Sidor, the ex-Kamloops Blazers, a 2-time All-Star with the experience of winning both Memorial and Stanley Cups. His skill and brains will be relied upon heavily, considering the Jackets allowed the most goals in the league last year. Sidor, 36 points, a plus 22 last season with the Stars. Numminen had to waive his no-trade clause to make this happen. The 15-year vet has spent his entire career in the Winnipeg Phoenix organization. He collected 30 points last season with the Coyotes. Mike Sillinger will enter his 12th NHL season. The Coyotes will be his 19th. The veteran center has scored at least 16 goals each of the past 4 years. Most importantly, he helped the Coyotes save $2 million on their payroll. Elsewhere, the Islanders have re-signed their goaltending tandem. Garth Snow and Rick DiPietro, no terms released. The Ducks re-signed defenseman Lance Ward and center Sammy Paulson, both 2-year deals. And Jim McKenzie is on his way to Nashville. The former Devils signed a contract with the Preds, no terms released there as well. North Vancouver's Martin Kariya followed his brothers Paul and Steve to the University of Maine. Now he's following them into pro hockey. Martin has signed a deal with the AHL's Bridgeport Sound Tigers, the top affiliate of the New York Islanders. Martin led Maine in scoring last season with 14 goals and 36 assists in 39 games. Vancouver Giants, meanwhile, have announced dates for their first 2 games of the coming season. The Giants open at the Coliseum against the Seattle Thunderbirds on September 19th. The next night, September 20th, they host the Cougars of Prince George. The rest of the Western League schedule will be released shortly. Giants training camp, by the way, starts in Ladner on, which is just around the corner, August 28th. Jays and Yankees were rained out tonight at Yankee Stadium. That means Roy Halladay will have to wait until Wednesday for his chance to tie a team record. Doc has a 14-game win streak going one shy of Roger Clemens' mark from the 1998 season. Halladay will start tomorrow as the Jays return to Toronto to face the Chicago White Sox. Mariners and Twins tonight. Twins looking for their 6th consecutive win. Bottom third, 6-3 mini, Christian Guzman. Base hit of Freddie Garcia. New Westminster's Justin Morneau scores 7-3 Twins. Top of the 5th now. Brett Boone trying to get the Mariners back into this thing. Takes Rick Reed for a ride. That's a 2-run scallop Mariners trail 7-5. Top of the 6th, bases loaded for the veteran John Olerud. Base hit off Joe Mays. Ichiro scores. So does Mark McLemore. The throw home gets by A.J. Brzezinski. Mike Cameron scores. 8-7 Mariners. Mike Cameron scores. Next batter is Randy Wynn. Randy Wynn for Seattle. Taking Mays for a trick. A 2-run dink. What a comeback by the Seattle Mariners as they outslugged Minnesota by a score of 10-8. Shannon Stewart made his first start in right field and hit his first home run as a Twin. Justin Morneau 1 for 3 with an RBI, and that run scored there. Seattle snaps a 3-game losing streak. If you are one of many people who feel Larry Walker hasn't looked like his powerful, consistent self lately, well, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, there's a good chance the pride of Maple Ridge is about to go through an extended stay on the disabled list. Larry has 2 problems, a swollen lymph node in his right groin and a degenerative condition in his left shoulder. He entered Tuesday in a 2 for 18 slump that has seen his average dip below 300. Larry had an 0 for 8 weekend in San Francisco, striking out a total of 5 times. According to ESPN, a blockbuster 4-team NBA trade involving the Timberwolves, Knicks, Sixers, and Hawks has been agreed to. Word is it will be completed and announced Wednesday. The deal shakes down something like this. Keith Van Horn will go from the Sixers to the Knicks. Latrell Sprewell would go from New York to Minnesota. The T-Wolves would give up Terrell Brandon's contract to Atlanta, although Brandon didn't play at all last season. The Hawks would send the big dog, Glenn Robinson, to the Sixers. Now, there is a possibility that a 5th team could be involved. It is rumored to be the Sacramento Kings. In Van Horn, the Knicks would get a solid shooter to complement Allen Houston. Van Horn averaged just under 16 points and 7 rebounds a game with the Sixers. Sprewell, meanwhile, should look very good in a T-Wolves jersey. He would join an explosive lineup that includes KG and the newly acquired Michael Olowokandi. Sprewell averaged over 16 points last season with the Knickerbockers. As for the Sixers, they get a legitimate number 2 scorer in the dog to take some of the pressure off of Allen Iverson. Robinson averaged just under 21 points and over 6.5 rebounds a game last season with the lowly Hawks. Up next, British Open champ Ben Curtis feeling a little overwhelmed, which is bad news for fans in Hartford. Following in the steps of Annika, Susie Whaley, ready to play with the boys. And Carl Pavano faces off against his old team, Expos Marlins, in a bit.